This is the plaintiff, Deshaun Douglas. He says he purchased a food truck from the defendant, but when he went to pick it up, the defendant wouldn't turn it over to him. First, he said he needed to fix the radiator and the brakes. Then he said the transmission needed repair. Every week it was something else. He finally got fed up with the defendant's runaround and told him he wanted his money back. The defendant refused, and now here they are. He's suing for $5,000, the amount owed. This is the defendant, Eddie. He says the plaintiff put down $160 on the almost $4,000 truck. And he took so long paying it off, the radiator froze up in the cold winter months. One of his workers put the wrong fluid into the transmission, so he needed to repair that too. But the plaintiff became too impatient, then started ranting and raving about his money. He's willing and able to fix the truck and complete the deal, but feels this is all an excuse because the plaintiff realized he was getting himself into something he simply couldn't afford. He's accused of trucking it up.
All parties, please use your right hands.
Welcome back to the People's Court. Next case on the docket, the plaintiff bought a food truck from the defendant but wouldn't turn it over. The defendant says the plaintiff is just super impatient. It's the case of, I can't sell my grub, bub.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome in.
Deshaun Douglas?
Yes.
You are suing Eddie. You've asked us to refer to you only by the name Eddie?
Yes, ma'am.
And Eddie's business for $5,000, $3,732.63, the full cost of a food truck that you did not pay for. You paid part of it. $80 in business cards and almost $1,200 in loss of business. Okay, what happened here? He was selling a food truck. How did you meet him?
I met him through my brother.
Okay.
So my brother took me to his shop.
And what kind of, to his shop?
Yeah, he got a shop.
What kind of shop?
A car shop, like a dealer.
Okay, and he had a food truck there, but you don't operate the food truck?
No, we just were selling down the lot.
How did you get your hands on the food truck?
I purchased it from Ohio.
Okay. So you decided you wanted to buy the food truck. What were you going to sell?
I was gonna make it to a snack truck.
What kind of snacks were you going to sell?
All type of snacks.
Were you going to cook or just?
No, just snacks.
Right. Okay.
That's why I named it.
I could cook a snack. I'm just asking you.
I'm just saying.
Right. Pre-purchased stuff where
Yeah.
you didn't have to do any cooking.
That's why I named it after our snack truck.
So you were paying. You end up in an agreement with him that you're going to buy it. Do you
Yeah.
have a written agreement with him?
I got the receipt.
But do you have a purchase agreement? Did you give him a purchase agreement for this, sir?
Yes, I did.
Okay, can I see your copy of it if he doesn't have it?
That's what he.
Yeah, it's the same thing. There's some extra writing on the one the defendant gave me. What is this writing here?
I thought he originally paid the balance in full, but
Well, you wrote balance paid in full.
Yeah, that was my mistake. He owed
Did you pay it in full?
Yes.
Oh, your allegation is that you paid it in full.
Yes, I gave him money.
He owed $522.
Well, you say that, but
I know.
I was under the impression that you acknowledge that you hadn't paid the full amount. You are saying you paid $3,732.63?
Yes.
You did. Show me the receipts for all of your payments. Because in your complaint, what you say is in December of 2017, I paid the defendant a total of $3,210. When I went to pick it up in December, he told me the radiator brakes and rotors were messed up.
I went back to him like 3 times.
Right. When I went back the following week, he told me the transmission was bad. It would be another week. I went back again the following week, and the truck still wasn't ready. At this point, I asked the defendant for my money back. You don't mention having paid more than $3,210.
I did get him my money. I got a receipt.
Why isn't it in your statement?
Because
okay, do you have receipts for the $3,700 and something?
Right there.
Okay, you're showing me what he gave you, which he says that he accidentally gave you saying it was paid in full when it wasn't. Why would you accidentally hand something saying paid in full if it wasn't?
I did start because he said that he was going to pay the balance in full.
So you gave him a receipt that said he paid the balance in full before he paid the balance in full?
That was my mistake.
Okay, well, I could hear you because I don't like how his complaint reads.
Yeah.
So I think he might be taking advantage of the situation.
But
I would hear you much better if what you had was an accurate depiction of how much was paid each and every time.
I have the date behind the amount he paid. February 3rd, something like that, I think.
What is it you're saying is owed? $522?
Correct.
You just handed me something that says balance $522. Like he had written in full, and then he wrote on your copy that you handed me, balance 522. In other words, it's not just on his copy. Seems like you know you owe 522. So it sounds to me like you know you're 522 short. You're just a perjurer. That's what that sounds like.
So if somebody perjures themselves in court, do they automatically lose?
No, but they're under investigation for another crime.
Well, that's true. It could be perjury, but do they lose the case?
They should, because they should be under oath.
And what's the problem if they lie?
Then the cases should be thrown out because you don't know the truth.
Because they have no credibility going inside the courtroom.
What happens is he comes in and he says, I want the truck. And you're like, it's not ready. Then he says, I want the truck, and it's not ready. And he says, I want the truck, and it's not ready. Why isn't it ready?
Well, we had it in storage, and he took like 3 months to come finally pay off the balance.
Yeah, but that was the arrangement you had with him, apparently. Pay it little by little. So why isn't it fixed by the time he's ready?
He kept telling me he was going to come in and pay the remaining balance. We don't do any work on any kind of car or truck until...
Why not? If you're selling it. You're selling it and it's supposed to be fixed.
It's going to sit, and when his car sits, it falls apart.
Oh, not that much.
And in the
because apparently you had to put a new transmission.
In the contract, it says...
According to you, what was wrong with the truck and you couldn't sell it to him? You had to put a new transmission.
Because it sat and the gears seized up.
So whenever a car sits for how many months was that? 3 months?
Correct.
The transmission, that's it? That's the end of the transmission?
Well, the fluids is
what
not
did your
flowing.
guys do wrong? According to your own answer to the complaint, your guys did something wrong.
They didn't do anything wrong. We brought the truck back. The only thing, the fluids might have been low.
I'm sorry.
And then they top off the fluid. So
My workers put the wrong transmission fluid in the food truck, which required us to replace the transmission.
Well, we didn't put the wrong fluid in there. It's just the fluid was low in it. By the time we got back to the shop...
What kind of an idiot do you think I am? I would think that in 3 months you need a new transmission. Why would that? That's stupid. Why are you saying that to me?
I was paying for the transmission. He wasn't going to pay anything. All he had to do was just give me a little bit of time. And then the contract says I have up to 30 days.
And you feel that you have 30 days to finish it. Why? What are you pointing to?
Well, it says right in the contract.
Yeah, where? Show me where, so I can read what the... Okay.
Right here.
Notice to consumer. If the vehicle is not delivered in accordance with this agreement within 30 days after the estimated delivery, and the delays are not attributable to you, you have the right to cancel the agreement and receive a full refund. Okay, so the question is, when should there be a delivery date? And what is the delivery date?
From 30 days where he paid in February, when he paid the $3,027.
When was he asked? When did you file the lawsuit?
2 weeks after.
Yeah, I think like 2 weeks after I told him.
Premature. It's also premature because I'm going to find that as a matter of fact, I am finding that you still owe 522. So you haven't even finished paying for it. What's going on with the thing right now?
I just actually sold it. I just put a transmission.
You sold it? Oh, now we got the problem. Yeah, you sold this truck. Why didn't you tell us that from the beginning?
Because
I could have short-circuited this little gem a long time ago.
Well, I did put a transmission in it. I got the transmission receipt.
I don't care. You sold it. So I was making him take the truck, and now that is not a possibility. How much did you sell it for?
I sold it for $3,700.
And you also have his 3,000 something, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Where do you think this is going?
I didn't want the car to sit any longer. I mean,
stop it.
He took
sit any longer. You're talking about how premature. It hasn't even been fixed, or it hadn't been. He files a lawsuit. You go out and sell it to somebody else, so now he can't have it. I was going to tell him he had to take it, but now he doesn't. So now you get your money back. Isn't that princely? And of course you should, because you've got some big fat cash flowing out of your pockets, way more than the thing is worth, because you got paid twice. Oh my goodness. Loss of business. Why don't you take the next minute to try to persuade a person who knows you perjured yourself and tried to get the other 522? Why don't you try to persuade me of how much business you lost as a result of never finishing to pay for the truck? Go ahead.
I get him money for that truck, but the reason I say loss of business is because I had customers that wanted me to come to their shop and they deliver my goods to them.
So how do you come up with $1,187.37 of profit when you clearly, from your own receipt, still owed $522, so couldn't even take it yet?
He didn't even have insurance on it to be able to get it.
Because you never gave me the truck. You gave me the truck, I'd have put insurance on it.
Okay.
Yeah. And then you apparently made business cards before you got the truck in your, that's kind of precipitous. Yeah. I am not going to order him to pay you for the business cards or the loss of business that you are making up. I am going to, however, order him to pay you back the amount I find you did pay according to your own paperwork, which is $3,210.63, verdict for the plaintiff.
It's all good. As long as I get my money back. It's all good.
That gentleman there is right that if you lie under oath, it's perjury, and a judge can refer that to prosecutors.